Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Matt, and we are going to talk about g.l.o.w. Season 1, Episode 4. It's called The Dusty Spur. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. And I feel like what the show's doing now is that, it's still kind of, we've been talking about characters a lot in the last few reviews, but I feel like this one, again, it took a character we had, but we'd had some fun moments with, the wolf, Stacey.
Yeah.
But we actually got a sense of who she was in this episode, and it gave her a little bit more time, as well as developing some of the ongoing relationships. Even Sam got some meat in this episode, just even by proxy, because we got to watch his tape.
Yeah.
Was it Blood Disco? If I want to say right.
Blood Disco was his movie that he gave.
Yes.
So Tammy, whose character is the welfare queen, comes to him as a salmon concern because she's worried about the character being a little bit racist.
Which I have to commend, because obviously last episode we talked about how some of these stereotypes were a little bit iffy in that sense, and I like that she brought that up. She came to him with concerns that this welfare queen thing was a little bit offensive. Also, Jenny, Ellie Wong's character, did bring up the Asian stereotype and said, "Yeah, because I'm shy, but do samurai." And they're addressing the concerns. I'm glad the girls are actually saying these things, but yeah, she goes to Sam.
But yeah, and he he kind of stands up. He's like, well, yeah, offensive. That's there's a place for it because it shines a light on dark parts of culture, and then it brings up how he was basically an exploitation movie director throughout the 70s.
Yeah, he's proud that one of his movies are banned in 49 states, which, I appreciate that line of thinking.
I remember you telling me about the Video Nasty series at 1.21.
Mm-hmm.
And it just reminded me that he probably directed some of those. They're banned in 49 states.
It's exactly that time period. They probably did. Oh, dear. Yeah. So, yeah, they end up watching his Blood Disco, which he had Blood Disco 2 as well. I believe that was one of the titles, the sequel. But they watch Blood Disco. A lot of them get together and watch it, including Cherry's husband, who's around it. Because this is part of the plot of this one, is they all get put into a motel, because it's kind of like Olympic Village almost, but they want them to all live together and then train together and that kind of thing.
It makes sense. It forms a camaraderie there amongst them. But it also keeps them, I don't want to say under control because it seems harsh, but if they're working for them and this is their sole goal, it keeps them from venturing off and doing whatever. It keeps them focused.
Yeah, and the funny thing is we already see the benefits of the camaraderie coming through, because by the end of the episode, Ruth and the wolf actually kind of understand each other a little bit better.
Yeah,
even though it still leads to Ruth kicking. I was going to say Annie. Even though it leads to the wolf kicking Ruth out of the room. We'll do the whole sock in the door trick. Oh, right now? You want me to go right now? Okay.
Then she locks it, with the chain.
Yeah.
Oh.
But she because her whole thing is that that's the hair, the fur and all that. It's not a character. It's who she is. That's what she wants to be, and so you get a bit of understanding for her and how she's kind of the way that everyone always assumes that it's this thing she's doing, this bit, is what bothers her, and that it's just fair. It's people not recognizing that's just who she is and assuming it's like an act. So you get a bit more of a sense of her. Obviously, it leads to the ending where we have Ruth and Debbie sleeping on different on deck chairs out by the pool, and it's almost this little moment where Debbie's like, "Okay, I can just about put up with her when she's asleep. This is okay." Because she makes that choice.
Well,
she almost gets back up, and then she's like, "No, she's asleep. It's fine."
Yeah. Well, and it shows too that they're still a divide. They're on opposite sides of the pool, and we really haven't seen them in a scene together until here, and
which actually really made me laugh. She when Ruth goes to Sam to say, "Oh, I don't know if it's working out with the wolf," and she's like, "Well, first Debbie, now her. Like, what are you?"
Are you difficult or something? I also like when they're watching the movie with Cherry's husband, and he was a stuntman on some of his movies. And he's like, "Oh, you're friendly with Sam. Isn't he a bit racist?" And he's like, "Nah, Sam's definitely more sexist than he is racist."
Yeah, I like that as well, because she saw like it's Tammy who comes up to him and she's like, oh, so you've worked with him, like, can we trust him, or is he just another
Yeah.
racist white director? And he's like, no, in my experience, he's usually more sexist than he is racist. And I like that it's like it cuts back to her face and just this like,
Uh-huh.
oh yeah, that's comforting. Thanks.
That helps a whole bunch. Yeah.
That's pretty
But
funny.
so on this movie, we still haven't touched there that he gives them the VHS, and intercut, the movie cuts away, and there's like a video from a dating service.
Well, just to put this in perspective, just for the young folk who are not familiar with VHS, right? Because you said
True.
cut
I
away,
forget.
and I know what you mean by that, but these young folks won't understand this. But back in the VHS days, you taped things onto tape. Sometimes you would tape over, with other stuff,
Right.
and depending on where you started, you might not get a clean thing, and it'll just cut into it. And that's what happens here. It goes all fuzzy, and then it comes up with this new recording he's made over the tape.
Yeah. And it just kind of it shows him he's bearing his soul to this dating thing. I mean, he's still kind of playing a character.
He's not. He's still being himself. I wouldn't say anything he says is shocking. It still feels like,
No.
oh, if you told me San made a tape to send into a dating agency, this is exactly what I would. Because it's like he's been so unrealistic with his expectations. He's like, oh, I'm at that point in my life where I want a good woman who doesn't get hysterical with every mistake I make. And he's like, oh, and under 30 with a good figure. It's like, oh yeah, you're not asking too much there, Sam.
Yeah. But he's kind of dropped that guard that he has with all the ladies, so they see a different side of him and kind of start to understand, what's going on with him. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. There's a few other things as well. Carmen, of course, because when they're told they're all going to live at this hotel, she makes like a fake. But I love the montage, by the way, of all of them preparing to go and live at a motel for a while. But she has to make this like fake pillow like body in her bed to try and trick her family that she's still there, which is silly, of course, in and of itself. But her father and brother show up to the gym to demand, because her father's not happy that she's wrestling. She doesn't want him to be wrestling. He's been, quite frankly, a little bit sexist, because he's like, oh no, you shouldn't be wrestling. Women wrestlers are a joke.
A sideshow. But you got to take in perspective at the time, though. We're talking the mid '80s, and it doesn't seem like that long ago.
Oh yeah, I mean it's in line with what the thinking was probably like at the time, which is why it's why the story of these wrestlers building their own thing is actually so inspiring, because they are fighting against that.
He doesn't want his daughter to be a sideshow freak. He says like he wants her to have a better life, and he goes about it in a sexist way. He's like, I want you to meet a nice man and be taken care of and do a job you can be proud of. Don't do our job. And so I kind of like that tenderness to him, even though there was a little sexist undertone to it.
Oh yeah, it's like there was part of it that's coming from a good place, but it's definitely mixed with a lot of old opinions, and he never stops to think that maybe his daughter can change that image of what this is. And he never considers that. He never considers that that's a possibility. What I like about this scene, actually, first of all, obviously the two brothers are actual wrestlers, Brodus Clay and Carlito. I'm not going to. The biggest laugh I probably had in this episode is when Sam says he's the director, and Brodus Clay just steps into frame and goes, "Did you direct Star Wars?" He's like, "No."
Because when you see Brodus, so he's a big dude. Like he used to do security for Snoop Dogg, right? And so he steps in front of this even bigger dude and goes from menacing to fanboy.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
It's a disappointment, and then his brother from behind's like, "Oh, we really like Star Wars."
Yeah.
it really cracked me up. But what I like about this scene, though, my favourite part of this scene is that as much as Sam is kind of a sleazy guy, as much as he's kind of morally dubious, he despite the fact that Carmen's dad is like 3 times his size, he stands there and takes a slap and then says, "Yeah, punch me. If a boy it takes to get you out of this building and stop insulting my actors, punch me, but go."
Yeah.
And you earn a little bit of respect for him.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
He's standing up for her, because this whole thing is like, don't talk to her like that. Like she's trying to make something of herself.
Which again, it's kind of that's weird. It's kind of like we said with the dad, how he's coming from the right place, but he's saying a lot of the wrong things, and he's got a lot of the wrong viewpoints. Sam as well. Like sometimes the way he talks to them is completely absurd and wrong, but it shows that when push comes to shove, he does have his heart in the right place a lot of the time. And here you can earn a little bit of respect for him, because he stands up for them. So it's nice.
And I look at Carmen as kind of, she's the hero character that you're really rooting for her, Because, you know, you got Debbie, who's going to be the main star, but she kind of already has it. Like, she has an easy pathway. And then Ruth's very unlikable. Like, even though it's Alison Brie and I want to like her, some of the stuff she does, like when she's developing these over-the-top characters.
I wouldn't say she's unlikable. I'd say she's just really kind of annoying. In a good way. Like, she's like, I'm not annoyed by the character, but you can tell that she's annoying the shit out of every single person around her.
Cause she's very needy. She very needs attention. Like, I feel like she's that. We talked about it in earlier reviews. She's that actor's actor,
But
you know, that puts pomp on to everything.
but again, at the same time, at the end of the episode, when she goes and sleeps outside to make someone else feel comfortable. Like, so again, sometimes her heart's really in the right place, and she shows that she has compassion. So it's doing a good job of giving these relatively complex characters for, you know, you say a half-hour comedy about a wrestling show. You don't really assume it's going to have much depth to it. But honestly, the characters, which are the obviously the bread and butter of the show, are so far they're doing a pretty good job with making them feel kind of three-dimensional.
Definitely.
For the most part. One of my favourite little lines is when they're talking about characters, because they're trying to come up with characters and try to like refine them, and producers talking about gimmicks and getting your what you know. And Debbie's like, oh, I want someone to carry the American flag behind me. It's like, no, but you're and Carmen brings up the right point, but no, you're meant to be, you know, you're your own woman, self-made. You're supposed to carry your own flag. But one of my favourite lines is the British chick whose name I'm forgetting.
Britannica.
Rhonda's our actual name, but yeah, Britannica, gotcha. Sure. One of my favourite lines was her, oh, I want an accent, but not a British one. That was pretty funny. And then when she's sort of training / sparring with Melrose, and she hits her with the encyclopedia, and she's like, oh, stop hitting me with knowledge.
Yeah.
That was a really good line.
I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, those are good fire lines.
Yeah, well, like you said, all the characters are pretty well defined. Even the smaller characters, that you have the two that look like sisters. I think they're Ethel and Edna.
Yeah, well, and I think obviously there's some that aren't that greatly defined yet, but I feel like, you know, we got, certainly I don't think Wilf was defined before this episode, but now she is, and I feel like maybe we get a few more of these. Maybe I can see Arthur getting an episode where she tries to come out of her shell, and, you know, we see her do that flip into the pool, and it's like, oh, we're going to see that off the top rope later. Is she going to develop that into a move?
And she's like, I'll try. That was a clean 540 almost. Like, looked nice. But I also like when she went to say goodbye to her grandma, which we've already established her grandma watches wrestling. Her grandma's watching wrestling and is so enraptured in it, like, when she goes to say goodbye, it kind of startles her. You know? And so I like that she's doing it because she has that familiarity. Like, she wants to be a wrestler, where some of the other ones are doing it just to have a job. It shows by her nailing that into the pool. Like, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I also like how Sam's about to like strip off and jump in. He's like, yeah, why not? And then Cherry comes out, yeah, we've got training in 10 minutes. Oh yeah, good point. Everyone, let's go. We got work to do.
Also, they come in from him and Sebastian come in from a creative meeting in Palm Springs where they locked themselves away, did coke for 2 days.
Yeah, I like how Sam appears no different, but Sebastian is clearly just like hopped up. Like he can't barely speak straight.
He couldn't get Debbie's stroller to work. Just he was so manic, and no one offers to help her with the baby. They just let her go. You know, I thought that was pretty funny. But and Sam being normal and Sebastian being so cranked up, that was hilarious.
Speaking of characters going a little bit above and beyond, I mean, arguably it's for selfish reasons in this case, but the fact that Sebastian did kind of run out and try to pretend to be Carmen's boyfriend for a minute, which did lead to the great line, you two need to learn to sell, because that was terrible. Which is pretty funny. I suppose the one thing we've not touched on then, I suppose, is Debbie and her husband. Which, as a plot in episode 1, we weren't that keen on. Although Debbie's plot related to everything else is fine so far. Like, I'm enjoying our interactions with Ruth and whatever. But it's basically, we have a scene with her husband trying to like sort of get his way back into the house, and it's really just there to set up that she comes with the rest of them, because she gets let off. She's allowed to stay at her house because she's the star and because she has a baby.
Right.
But then that ultimately leads her to decide. And I don't know where they're going with the husband. I don't see her and the husband reconciling.
No.
But I do see her and Ruth reconciling.
Exactly.
Possibly.
I think that's the...
Yeah, by the end probably, but yeah.
Yeah, beyond the setting up of this promotion, it's Ruth and Debbie that's really driving the story.
Yeah.
So, but her husband pointed out some good stuff. Like, yeah, he cheated and stuff, but he pays the house, he does this, he does that. So, if she really wants to call it quits, she needs to file for divorce because he's not going to do it. And it really puts her in between a rock and a hard place.
It's tough because he is kind of a douchebag, and he feels like a douchebag. He does have some points. Admittedly, I think that I don't know if given that he's the one who screwed up, because he did screw up in the worst possible way. I don't think coming in and making the ultimatum this way was the way to go. Like, I feel like easing towards that, where give her a lot of chances to get over it. Because like I say, it's been 2 weeks, and I'm like, so it's been 2 weeks, big deal. Like, you cheated on her, like.
Well, that's it, and that shows his character too. Is I do feel like he cares about his son more than he cares about Debbie in that relationship. So, because he tags that at the end with, and let me put my son to bed.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think he's putting that act on because no one else was there. It was just him and Debbie and the kid. So
I think that's genuine. I think I mean, maybe their marriage is just doomed at this point, so almost no matter what he says to her, it's going to feel slimy. But the stuff about his son did feel genuine, and so I think for Debbie as well, a big part of this whole storyline we're going through the wrestling is she's going to finally because she is so tightly wound right now because of everything that's happened. She's going to eventually be allowed to let roar and let rip and get her emotions out, and I feel like that's going to be a big thing for her character.
And I thought that also drove home that she can't have 2 feet in different worlds. Like, she has to fully commit. And her being able to go home and be comfortable while everybody else is going through the ringer together, I feel like this fully invests her in everybody else too.
Hey, you can almost compare that to the marriage. Like, she's pissed at him, she's made him leave the house, but the fact that she's not just went straight for a divorce and she's let it just kind of sit there for these couple of weeks, it does maybe say that she does have an issue of committing and making the choice to say no, it's over, so let's just start the process. So maybe you can relate those two things together, where she has to go in with both feet. But no, there you go. That's episode 4 of Glow. Still pretty solid. Still good.
Yep.
Digging it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely like the character developments here throughout this one, and I even thought the title was the Dusty Spur. I figured we were gonna get Dusty Rhodes.
I thought that as well.
Based off of but no son of a plumber.
I'll almost be. I've not looked ahead at the titles, but it would almost be a shame if the final episode's not called the Dusty Finish.
Oh, that'd be great.
But we shall see. But no. So let us know what you thought of the episode. We'll have the next one up on sometime on Tuesday, so you can look forward to that. So thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz. If you want to support the channel and everything we do here, go over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv and see some of the bonuses you can get over there. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching, guys. Keep watching TV. We'll see you next time. Have you got any vanilla?